Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another video here. We're going to jump into the Thursday night football slate. We got the Philadelphia Eagles going to Green Bay, facing off with the Packers. Going to be a really good Thursday night game, one of the best Thursday night games I think we've had this year. Before I jump into this game, as always, please leave a like on this video if you have not already. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave a comment down below, whether it's season-long, DFS, DraftKings, FanDuel, Yahoo, anything like that. Let me know. I'm happy to give y'all any advice that I can. Before we start, I do want to jump over here real quick, and I want to go to a coin flip real quick. We're going to do a coin flip between Devin Hulsman and Bai Smith, who both picked Christian McCaffrey to outscore Saquon and Zeke last week. We're going to do heads for Devin and tails for Smith. Let's see what happens. Tails. So Bai Smith, you are the winner. Feel free to leave your PayPal or Venmo below. I will hook it up as promised. And then without further ado, let's jump right into this video here. I do want to make this a little bit different, though. One thing that I really think I need to try to do better with the videos is be a little bit more clear about my favorite plays that I'm going into, and then that way it's easier for me and y'all to hold me accountable when I'm wrong. The guys that I'm on this week and the guys that maybe I'm not super hot on, but I do want to make that a little bit easier for just being able to hold myself and y'all to hold me accountable, like I said. So I'm going to talk about a few of my favorite plays. I'm still going to try to talk a little bit about everybody, but I'm going to specify, this is a guy that I want at captain. This is a guy I don't want in my lineup. I think that'll kind of help clarify a little bit, maybe make it a little easier rather than just talking about everybody. I realized I was watching another guy that does DFS videos, and felt like he just told me he liked every single player, and I was like, damn, I hope I don't do that because I didn't get anything out of that. So I'm gonna try to make that a more of a priority in this video. Let me know what you think after we jump into it. But let's get right into this one. Top of the salary line, we have Davante Adams. Has not had a monster game this year. Had a good game week 2, and he was at home, against Minnesota. All three of these defenses were great. Chicago, in my opinion, best defense in the league. I don't even really think that that's close. Next after that, Minnesota is a solid defense, definitely top 50% defense. But I think Xavier Rhodes was on him more than expected that week. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it was. I didn't watch too much of that game. I was working, but the Denver game though, I did actually get to check out some of that. Just was not pretty there in Green Bay, and obviously matched up with Chris Harris. Not something that I'm too scared about because of those tough matchups. I'm good with plugging him at captain. He's probably my favorite captain on the slate. And then I'm going to talk about probably my 3 or 4 favorite captains. So Davante Adams being my personal number 1 favorite. After him, my next favorite, and these are for GPPs. I want to make that very clear. Cash, we'll get into that in a minute, but for guaranteed prize pools, tournaments, Davante Adams is probably my very favorite captain. My next favorites are actually side by side. We're going to have MVS, Aaron Rodgers, number 2 target at 11-4 in the captain spot, and then right below him, Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is probably going to be the more contrarian captain of the 3, I would think. But after what we saw Dalvin Cook do, granted, Dalvin Cook, he's been an animal all year. Looking like he might be one of those different breeds. He's going to be priced up there with Zeke, CMC, and Alvin Kamara if he keeps doing what he's doing. I think Miles Sanders is just waiting to break out. We saw him just look amazing against Detroit. As a Lions fan, it's obviously a little bit biased, but I think we do have one of the best, if not the best, inside run defenses in the league, especially with Damian Snacks Harris. He's still managed to average 4 yards a carry, which is not bad against that Detroit front 7. And then we did get exposed by receiving yards there. I think Green Bay is going to be they're going to be pretty surprised. I think Miles Sanders is going to have himself a game on a primetime matchup there against Green Bay. I think that he wanted to do it against Atlanta, but just couldn't find the opportunity. This could be his night. So I like him at captain, MVS at captain, Davante Adams at captain. And then if Jimmy Graham does not play, we don't know yet. Still got the Q tag, limited participant yesterday. It's Wednesday morning right now, but if he does not play, I don't hate Robert Tonyan at captain for cash or tournaments, because if he does crack a touchdown and then you do one of these, just jam, I mean, that could win anything. That could 100% win a tournament. If Tanyan gets a touchdown, that could be the takedown lineup. You have both QBs who are both going to score probably 15 to 25 points. I think this is going to be a pretty competitive shootout, actually. Then you have two targets for Philly, who I think is going to be trailing. But like I said, I think it stays competitive, but I think they're trailing, so I think Wentz might be throwing it a lot. This is basically just a shootout game script sort of a play right here. Also pretty good for cash. And this is if Jimmy Graham misses. But let's get off the captains and talk about guys that I need in my lineups. If I'm playing Davante Adams, I need Aaron Rodgers behind him, and then I also need to run it back. I'm going to run it back with Zach Ertz, Alshon Jeffrey, or Nelson Aguilar. I don't see the idea of playing these two and then plugging in Miles Sanders. Could they all still have good games? Yes. But if you're playing Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams, and Adams is in your captain spot, you're basically saying they're going to have a big game. So if they're going to have a big game, they're probably going to be leading, especially considered that they're home and they're favorites. It doesn't make sense to play the home favorites quarterback and wide receiver and then the road team underdogs running back. So I'm not a fan of plugging in Sanders there. But like I said, run it back with Alshon, Zach Ertz, or Aguilar, basically assuming that these two have a huge game, and then, obviously Carson Wentz going to have to air it out on the other side. So if we were to plug in Ertz here, who's probably going to garner the most targets, and then let's say Graham misses, and then we plug in Robert Tonyan, who I personally prefer over Mercedes Lewis. I wanted to mention that too. That's kind of up to you. I think Tanyan's going to get more targets than Lewis will if Graham misses. But that's just me. Neither one of them is probably going to have a huge game. Just a good way to kind of pay down and have a decent punt. That's going to be pretty highly owned, so it can't burn you too bad if they get 0. But that leaves us with 6650. Somebody else I'm really looking to have in my flex spots is going to be Jamal Williams, who outsnapped, outcarried, and I want to say like 1 target short. I think Aaron Jones had 3. Aaron Jones had just 1, actually. So he outsnapped, outrushed, and got out-targeted. Just Aaron Jones just was like a number 2. It was a split backfield, obviously, but it just was not that sort of a game for Aaron Jones, I guess. So I would like to roll Jamal Williams and just hope that they continue that same usage pattern. Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, flip a coin, in my opinion. I think Aaron Jones is probably the better of the two. Something about Aaron Jones is just weird right now. He just doesn't look 100%. He was a full participant on Tuesday's practice and everything with his shoulder. I don't know what it is. He had that huge game against Minnesota. He still just doesn't look 100% to me, though, because I feel like when he really is fully healthy, he is an animal. But I've watched a little bit of the replays of the last couple games. I actually did watch some of the Minnesota game, but not a lot. That was all replays that I watched. The Denver game, though, even the carries he had just did not look like Aaron Jones to me. So I think for that reason, I think Jamal Williams, 4,000 less. I like him a lot in a flex, and then you can just come right back with Alshon. That's a pretty solid lineup for tournaments. I don't like anything for cash that you're paying all the way up at captain. I think, like I kind of mentioned at cash with Tanyan, the best plays for cash are going to be to pay down at cap and then just kind of jam everybody in that you want. But so other than those guys I mentioned at captain and at flex so far, if you're going to play Miles Sanders at captain, like I said, I really like that as a play. If we go Sanders at captain, I think then you don't have to have Aaron Rodgers in your lineup. You could go Davante Adams. You could go Zach Ertz, and then maybe even just Wentz. I don't hate Wentz at all. I think a lot of people are overlooking Carson Wentz on this slate, actually. He might be higher owned than I expect, but I mean, at the same time, I just think that he's being a little overlooked because everybody says Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, and they kind of just say, all right, now what? So I don't hate Wentz at all, especially if you're pairing him with Ertz. Or if you were to go Ertz at captain, I don't hate Ertz at captain. I just think it's a little bit safer. And, of course, the upside's there, but I like to mention that to you, too. Zach Ertz is a very good captain option. I meant to mention him when I was over here. I don't mean to backtrack, but other than that, though, if you do want to consider more guys that I'm going to need in my flex, Davante Adams, Aaron Rodgers, don't hate Wentz, won't have him in more than half of my lineups, though. I'd say he's probably going to be about 50% of my lineups. Zach Ertz probably going to be about 76% 60 or 70% of my lineups. Aaron Jones, I will not have a lot of. I don't think he has a big game here. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm just letting you all know. Come vulture me in the comments and scream at me because I don't think he has a big game. I think Jamal Williams will score more fantasy points than he will at home on this Thursday night game. Alshon Jeffrey, I don't think is 100%. I think he's going to be very vital in this game, though, because I think he opens up the field for Zach Ertz and Nelson Aguilar. I prefer Aguilar over Jeffrey. I think Aguilar's just got a much higher ceiling. Probably lower floor, but definitely higher ceiling. Djax will miss this game. It says doubtful. He's out. I don't see how he could possibly play. So Aguilar, MVS, Sanders, like I said, all three of these guys are in play at flex for me. Depending on who your captain is, I like to see some correlation there. Jamal Williams, great flex play. Geronimo Allison is a sneaky flex play. It's such a low price tag and such a horrible start to the year from what a lot of people had him ranked at coming into the season. He's got 7 targets in 3 games. Not a lot of people are going to look at that and say, let me have Geronimo Allison. At 4,200, I love him as a flex play. I think that if he gets 40 yards and a touchdown, he will be in the tournament-winning lineup at flex. At captain, it's not a horrible play, but you're really hoping that he just has a monster game. Not something I'm really all about at captain, but if you plug him in at the flex for 4,200, he's only 600 more than a kicker. Granted, the kickers are probably going to get more opportunity than he will. I still think he's the position players are the way to go in tournaments. If you do want to come down, I wanted to mention Dallas Goedert. He is just too cheap. I don't care what the usage is. We've all seen Dallas Goedert just ruin slates, ruin games, especially showdowns. Thousands too cheap for him, especially with this banged-up receiving core. Like I said, I don't think Alshon's 100%. I don't think he's going to play his normal snap count. I think he'll get a vast majority, and when he's not on the field, they might be running it. But with Djax out, that leaves Aguilar, Alshon, and Ertz, and then behind them, Arcega-Whiteside, Hollins, and Dallas Goedert. I think Goedert could be in a good spot here, a sneaky good spot at only 1,000. I think a lot of people are going to say, is Jimmy Graham playing? Is Jimmy Graham playing Tanyan? Or Lewis? I think Goedert is going to be a little under-owned on this slate, so I don't hate him. Kind of a similar play to Allison. You're just hoping that he gets 30 yards and a touchdown. So don't hate him at all. But other than that, the kickers and the defenses, I think, are going to be pretty the defenses are going to be super contrarian. I think a lot of people are expecting more of a high-scoring game here. So I don't hate them if you're just trying to be a little bit different and get that unique lineup, play a lot of positional players, and then just sneak a defense in there. Hope that you get a pick 6 or a few picks. Definitely would prefer the Packers defense over the Eagles defense. But then the kickers, I think, will be pretty cashy. If we're looking for cash lineups, it's pretty simple for me. On most showdown slates, this is how it's going to be for me. I'm going to plug in a kicker at captain. Not flex, captain. It's either going to be a kicker or one of these value guys down low. Like I said, if Graham misses, I don't hate Tanyan or Lewis at captain for cash. You're not going to need a ton of points, but I would prefer a kicker unless you're really just trying to save as much as possible. If we plugged in Jake Elliott and then we come back up and we go Adams, Rodgers, Wentz, Ertz, that leaves us 3,900, and then you can come right back with Mason Crosby. That's the kind of cash lineup I would be looking for. You have the top 2 receivers, you have both quarterbacks, and you have both kickers. You're guaranteed a lot of points with that lineup. It's just a safe play. I don't hate it at all. The only thing that can screw you is if it turns into be 7-3 game. If it turns into a 7-3 game, anybody with either defense is going to absolutely outscore you, unless for some reason it's Devontae Adams and Ertz have over 100 yards and 0 touchdowns or something like that. But Aguilar, like I said earlier, always slate-breaking potential, and then MVS and Miles Sanders, probably my 3 favorite flex plays on the slate. 3 guys that I just need, and then Devontae Adams is my favorite captain of the night. If you're not going to have Devontae Adams at captain, one of those 3 guys, I don't hate them either, but that's pretty much all I got for you. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them below like I mentioned. I wanted to make sure that this was a little bit more straightforward. These are the guys I like. This is the guy, or these are the guys I do not like. So let me know if you think that was a little bit more helpful. And then this is, like I said, Wednesday morning. So tomorrow night after the game, during the game, feel free to tweet me. Comment on the video. Let me know how it's looking. If Aaron Jones breaks a 90-yard touchdown in the first 5 minutes of the game, I want everybody to go on Twitter and just roast me and tell me I'm an idiot because I'm not in love with Aaron Jones at all on this Thursday night game. But I will leave y'all with that, and then I will be back at probably Friday night. I'll probably be back with a Sunday Thoughts video. I like to get those up Friday evening. That way you have all day Saturday and early Sunday to watch the video. Even though we're still going to have some Q's and D's next to people's names, questionables, doubtfuls. We're not going to have the final injury report, but I want to make sure I get that up in time for y'all to watch it. I like to talk about, if they play, if they don't play. That way it's, covering my butt on that end. But I will see y'all Friday night with my Sunday thoughts, and there will also be another contest kind of like there was on the last video. And then again, I will see y'all then, and thank you very much for watching.